good day to all our viewers. My name is Dr. Nisi. This is Ashes to Beauty, A2B. We are still talking statelessness. Hashtag I too belong. Which country do you belong to? Which country were you born? We have heard. And these are the answers that we are sorting to seek answers for. These are the questions that we are sorting to seek answers for. Do not move that dial. Sit and listen very carefully. We've got an expert here, our community advisory. Any questions you have, any concern regarding the statelessness, we have solution for them. Hi lady, please introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them who you are and where do you come from.
Hi, my name is Martha Langa. I'm the Program Director of the Office Community Advice Offices based in Bramfisher, Dobson Law.
So we have a specialist here with us. Should you have any questions, please feel free to visit the office. Martha, tell us, what is statelessness? If somebody is saying statelessness, what is that?
A statelessness person is the person who is not recognized by any of the states that we have around the world. Like for an example, if you are in South Africa and you don't have any birth certificate records or ID document, then you are a
Must
person.
you be a South African citizen or not?
If you are in South Africa
Yeah.
and you are not registered or recorded in any state, so you are statelessness. Like for example, in South Africa, we have nationality. If you are not registered in our nationality in South Africa, then you are not recognized by our state.
Okay. Only by the South African country or all the other countries?
Globally.
All right. You are an advisor. What do you advise on?
As a community advice officer, on day to day, the cases that we encounter specifically with the victims who are statelessness, for example, our main focus will be GBV, a person who's been violated as per their gender. They are more vulnerable when they are not registered in any state because it's easy for them to be trafficked, and it's not easy for them to be if they are trafficked, it's not easy for them to recover them because they are not registered in any state. They don't have records, they don't have anything. And the other challenges, specifically with the GBV victim, if they are statelessness, they can't access shelter because first requirement there, you must produce your document, whether it's passport, refugee status, or your ID document. If you don't have that, no shelter will accept you.
You just touched on something important, Mother. You know, like now I'm thinking about it, that we've been talking gender-based violence. Now I'm realizing only now to say, if now you're stateless and you are a victim of gender-based violence, now it's a double attempt. How do you seem to be sorting out such issues?
Yeah, it's a big challenge, as I've said, that number one, shelter for your safety. It's not easy to be accessible to you because you are not recorded or registered anywhere. The police won't chase you away. They'll look for your date of birth and everything, but the challenge would be your life is in danger. You need shelter. How are you going to access that without any records? So it's going to be difficult for you to get those access. Your protection order, you can easily get it. Your case docket is going to be opened, but further access to your safety, it's not going to be easy for you. Remember, in this place of safeties again, you have grants, aid that you receive. Without any ID document, it's not going to be easy for you to access those aid.
We are talking statelessness now, but it's linking back to gender-based violence. What if both the victim and the perpetrator do not belong to South Africa, or they are not South African citizens? How do you deal with such?
It's another challenge because remember, for you to be registered, if you're an adult committing any gender-based violence, let's talk perpetrator, your fingerprint is not recorded anyway. The only thing that the police officers or the law enforcement will do, they'll take fingerprint or they'll take DNA. It will be put in the record of being analyzed, but they won't identify you as this specific person who is recorded in any system of the state.
Like now I'm thinking even more to say not only are the victims of gender-based violence, what about the children? What has happened when you find the whole family actually they are stateless?
Once the parent, the mother, it's stateless, it will go to their kids,
All right.
it will go to their grandkids, it will go to your great-great-grandkids. Let's take generation to generation from the mother who was not registered, who was stateless. So each and every generation that comes after her, they are all going to be stateless.
Because they don't have a
They don't have, yes, because the referral point will be the parent who is stateless. So it's wise that people register in any nationality of their state so that they are recorded in any state.
Mother, let's speak the fact here. There are people who have used a passport to come to South Africa, and there are people that are in South Africa. They do not have a passport. They do not have. Those are the people that we're talking about here today. So how can they get such documents, ID copy or anything that will allow them or assist them in having some kind of a document in South Africa?
We know that maybe other people came from South Africa because of persecution.
All right.
They'll have to go through Home Affairs and apply for asylum seeker status.
Okay.
And then they'll have to wait for the process to be finalized. And then the ones who came with...
While you are still waiting, what are you supposed to do? Can you get a job while you're still waiting? Can you go to school while you're still waiting?
You have to wait until it's finalized. Then you know your status, that am I a refugee, or am I stateless, or this is my nationality, or do I need to have the what do you call that? The permit.
All right.
Yeah, it's either working permit or studying permit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Tell us more. You are an advisor. What type of people walk into your office on a daily basis? Let's say on a nice day, because we're going to touch on the worst day also.
Okay. We are in Gauteng province. Remember, Gauteng province, it's a mini world. So any nationality or any person from any country can be a victim of violence crime. So we help the victims of violence crime. Let's take somebody comes in, they need help. They are stateless. Number one, we check with them when we do our intake screening. Your name, your biographical information, the origin of your country.
Yeah.
Those are the first basic things that we want to hear from our victim when we do the intake. Then the violation comes in, the violent crime that occurred to them, whether it's GBV, whether it's your domestic violence.
That process should have a name. What is the name of that process that you're doing?
Then we're doing the screening.
Okay.
We're screening our client.
All right.
We're assessing what is happening with the client, the registration and everything.
All right.
Then we take it from there. Then we come in now with the cases of the GBV. And then we talk to them and make them aware. If it's a rape case, the case will be opened. Will be taken through the whole process. But the challenge would be, come time, you need a place of safety. The criteria going to the place of safety, you need to produce any document that you have, whether it's asylum seeker, whether it's your passport, whether it's your ID document, any permit that you have, we need that to be produced so that you can get access to the place of safety.
We are living, it's a fact, we are living on the shacks. One shack's can catch a fire, and the next, and the next. I don't have documents. I don't have anything. I come to your office. What would you advise me to do?
Okay, at first you need to tell me, yes, my document have been through the fire and whatever. And then second question would be, which country are you coming from?
Right.
Where you registered. Then we refer the case to the lawyers for human rights.
Right.
The lawyers for human rights will help us to dig more and do more research. Yeah, and check if you are registered with the state that you claim that you are coming from. Then if you are registered, we'll take it from there.
So your issue is now sorted?
Your issue is now sorted, and that also help you to go through back to your embassy to accompany those documents that are missing.
All right.
Yeah.
Same person, documents, but I did not come in South Africa the right way. In the country that I was born in, I was stateless. What do you do, or how do you advise such a client?
Okay, the Lawyers for Human Rights again,
Mm.
we write the report in everything that we acquired from you,
Yeah.
and then refer for the human rights. They'll do further investigations.
Okay, tell us about the worst day ever that you have encountered.
The worst day ever. The victim that would come being violated sexually, being violated even
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come to you, they're stateless.
Okay.
And then you'll help with the process of the police, the health services and everything.
Mm.
There comes, you need a place of safety for them. It's difficult to look at the person who is crying and you can see that going back to
Yeah.
the situation,
Mm.
they can either die as a result of feminism or feminist or something else. So it's difficult to like look at the person and say, you are stateless, I don't know where to take you and
So those are the challenges.
those are
that
the
you-
challenges that we face. Hence we're saying to the communities, please, please, please make sure you register. Whatever last document that you have, make sure you put it safe. Whether it's a passport that has expired or whatever, have something that tells that this is where you come from. Have something that tells, even though you don't, like for an example, you would have a child who came with the parents in South Africa.
Yes.
At that time, they were 8 or 9 years old. Then along the way, the parents passed on. So those kids, they would learn the language in South Africa.
Yeah.
They are not sure where they're coming from. Those are the worst cases that we meet. You talk to the child, they fluently speak a South African language.
Yeah.
But when you track the original, where they're coming from one of the African countries.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to say, we can deport the child back there. Who do they know? Because they came with the parents, and at the end of the day, the parent passed on here in South Africa. Those are the cases that the Lawyers for Human Rights help us with.
Right. So is that how important it is to have a document?
To have a document.
It does
Very
not matter how old it is.
how old it is.
Right.
As long as we can be able to trace the family members who know maybe the late parent who brought you in South Africa.
So your office only assists or advise people who are stateless, or is there any other thing that the officers are doing?
No, as a community advice office, we do
Yeah.
social justice issues
Right.
where we help with anything related to social issues.
Okay.
Your statelessness,
Yes.
your human rights violation, the victims' rights chapter. The last
Yeah.
time I touched on when you are a victim, what are your rights? Specifically, when you come to the services that you need to have, like opening your case, going to the social services issues, going to the criminal justice system, going to the Department of Justice with your case. Those are the cases that we deal with. Not only those, we only do the civil cases.
All right.
The statelessness issues also covers let's take you have a parent and your parent passed away, they have a house, and then
Alright.
they've never applied for a birth certificate for you. There comes a late estate. Automatically, you must get the asset of your parent.
Yes.
But without any birth certificate or ID document, it's going to be difficult for you to get those assets that belongs to your parents. At the end of the day, the next person who's a family member will
Yeah.
come and take those assets on your behalf. And not sure are they going to give it to you. Yes, that is another challenge that we face when it comes to stateless kids, when it comes to the late estate. Yeah.
So you are a community out there, and you know you do not have any documents, and you know you need to make sure that you find the area that can assist you. While things are still, fresh, do not wait for them until it's too late. Mother, tell us more. The listeners are listening and they want to hear exactly what is it that this office is helping them and is offering them, because it's called the advisory. What are you advising? We are still talking statelessness.
Okay. Dobsonville Human Rights Advice Center, it's a community advice office. We are not only based in Dobsonville.
All right.
We have the organization called CAOSA, Community Advice Office Association. We have community advice offices around Gauteng. We have 8 offices.
Okay.
We have the
Nice.
one in Westland, we have the one in 2 in Valrand, 2 in Westland, 2 Samurwalo, Westland Advice Office, We have the one in Val Orange Farm Advice Office. We have the other ones at East Rand, Tembisa. We have other one, Yozola Advice Office, Yusubonde Advice Office in Soweto. We have the Nsu Advice Office in Pretoria. We have the other ones at Mabubane and Hammanskraal. So all of us as Community Advice Office, we do social justice issues where we help communities based on the violation of their human rights. So the statelessness is part of the program of the violation of human rights, because as human beings, we have a right to belong to a state. We have a right to be named and surname. We have a right to nationality. So if we don't, that's violation of our human rights. Therefore, we need the state to help us to record and register us in those systems. So it takes two to tango. It must be the state and us as communities to take a stand and register for ourselves to be recognized by the state.
So those who are sitting at home, I don't have documents, I don't have anything. I'm just sitting there hoping things will get well. Will they, without you standing up and registering?
They can stand up themselves. I would advise them to stand up. Go straight to Home Affairs.
Okay.
First
So
step,
that's the first step.
first step you go to Home Affairs, and then if Home Affairs,
What are you doing at Home Affairs? Because
Home
you know,
Affairs-
when you get to Home Affairs, they accuse and they alliance. They said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I want an ID."
yes, at Home Affairs you have the assistant,
Okay.
those who are helping on the queue.
All right.
They'll ask you a question: how can we help you, so that we can put you in the
The
right
right
queue?
place, yeah, of
And then you will tell them, I'm here for a new application of an ID.
Okay.
If you are over the age of 15, the late registration of birth, they'll give you those application form and tell you the requirements. You must make sure you put your biological parents'
Okay.
information. If you don't, then as we spoke, that Gogo will have to assist you via a social worker for you to have those documentation to apply first for a birth certificate before you can even apply.
Okay. So you're saying we should be less than 15 or less than 16?
You should be less than 16 years.
Okay.
Yes, to
Right.
go with Ugogo if both biological parents are not there.
All right. So a child still stand a chance for late registration of a birth certificate.
Certificate.
All right.
And then after acquiring the birth certificate, then you can apply
Yeah,
for
then
an
it makes
ID
easy
document.
because you've got the number already.
Yes. And
So somebody who's in South Africa and do not have any documents. Now we're talking about the child. What
Yes.
about an adult?
an adult, again, they can apply, not for an ID document. The process is start with the birth
The birth
certificate.
certificate.
First, again, they go to Home Affairs, explain their status of the case. The Home Affairs will be the one who instruct them. These are the required documents to
Okay.
comply
All right.
first.
Okay.
At some point, as community advice officers, you come to us and present your case. Then we tell you, go look for this document first before you go to Home Affairs. Go look for those affidavits accompanying your application.
Okay.
Go look for your family members if your biological parents are not there to help you to do your application. So
Right.
those are the part of the requirement. You start first Home Affairs, you exhaust all those, that's when we can take your case.
Are there any costs associated with that?
Yes, they are, especially if you're applying for the birth certificate.
All right.
You are over the age of 18.
Oh.
And then remember, your first application, maybe you have a biological father or a biological mother, you need to go for paternity and DNA test. It costs 750 per person to prove that biologically you belong to the parent. For them to help you to apply for a birth certificate to be approved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is there, I'm not even sure whether you will have an answer for this one, but is our government doing enough to try and cover, because we all claim we are Africans, and Africa has got many countries in it. So if I am an African, if I'm in South Africa, that means I belong to. Do I belong without any documents?
The Constitution says straight away,
Mm.
South Africa belongs to the people who are staying in it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here, but
Yes.
I don't have documents.
You don't have documents. The
Yeah.
procedure is you come to us, we screen you
Okay.
and check which country are you coming from.
Okay.
It will be You came as persecution,
Oh,
that will be the asylum seeker.
Yeah.
Your passport has expired, then we'll help with the process. And then at the end of the day, it will reach Home Affairs, or it will reach our referral to the Lawyers for Human Rights and probono.org Johannesburg, so they can screen you.
Can you please say that again?
probono.org in Johannesburg.
All right.
Yeah, they also help with the statelessness,
All right.
the refugee application, the refugee status application. Then both of them, those lawyers can help with the process of the application.
Okay, so everybody can belong.
Everybody can belong.
Statelessness doesn't only affect the children, doesn't only affect the elders, but it affects the whole community.
The whole community.
Would you touch on the children that are at school and they do not have documents?
Yes.
Do you have a child working in your offices?
We have a lot of them, especially the kids who are in matric.
Yes.
They would say, I'm in grade 11, grade 12, I have to register for my exams, so I can't because I don't have an ID document. Then I think the rule in 2019 December, the judgment came that we can register those kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you register a child without any document?
We can register them. The Department of Education was taken to court that especially the matric and the grade R or grade 1 kids can be registered without an ID document until a certain period of time. Then we can be able to come and produce
The
documents because there will be a process of an application.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so you're talking about registration of the child at school.
Yes.
So leave the child to learn while you are busy with the
process of the application.
But now you start the child at grade R. By the
Yes.
time the child gets to grade 12, the document is still not ready. How do you sort out that problem? Because I want to sort it out for the children and the parents that are at home.
Yes.
To say, now I'm sitting with this child who do not have the documents. He's been at school. How am I supposed to sort out that issue?
Because cases vary from a different
Yes, of course.
because the challenge that we encountered a lot are the grandmothers would go and register the kids as their biological kids. Come 18 years old, the child must apply for an ID. The child is blocked in the system because the grandmother is not the biological mother. So we advise the grandmothers, when you go and apply for birth certificate, make sure you go to children's court, you tell the court that I'm the biological grandmother, not the mother, because come 18 years old it will be difficult for them to obtain.
Is there
an
another
ID
word that
document.
the grandmother can use when they go to court? Because according to our culture, if the child is with you, you're becoming mother automatically.
Yes.
So let's say for argument's sake, I take my children and leave them with my mother.
Yeah.
My mother now is responsible for my children. They say it's mother,
Yes.
So now what must they do in order for them to know that no, this is not my biological child.
Okay.
This is my grandchild.
Okay.
What is it that they need to do?
They go to children's court.
Yeah.
They register those kids they register the kids under them as the guardian.
Or as a guardian.
They are not
All right.
the biological mothers, but they are guardians. The kids are under their guidance.
Okay, of
They are-
course.
Yes.
Right. So, viewers at home, if you're sitting there and you have children that are not biologically yours, please do not say they are biologically yours. It will catch up with them when they need their own documents. You need to use the word guardian in order for them. Mother, we still have time. 2-3 minutes we still have. I want you to give us more information. What else can your department or your offices help us as the community?
All right. When we come in and make awareness about the ID documents and
Where
the
do you make those
registration,
awareness?
in our community in Dobsonville,
Okay.
in Brandfisher, in
All right.
Sloverville.
So meaning all your officers have the responsibility
Yes.
to make awareness in their own community.
Yes, remember I talked about more than 10 advice
of
officers.
course, yeah.
We do the same
Oh,
workshops.
okay.
We
Okay.
do the same awareness campaign based on the statelessness.
Okay.
So you go to any other community advice office, then they'll help you with the information that is related to the statelessness.
So truly, there's no reason for everybody not to belong.
Yes,
We
that's
all
true.
had to belong somewhere.
We all have to belong somewhere.
Okay. If there are 2 things that you would want the community to know, or the community to stop doing and start doing? What are those two important things?
Let's start about stop doing.
All right.
Don't be ignorant.
Please.
Please make sure when you go out of the antenatal clinic, you register.
So now you're
your
talking about the
certificate.
new mothers.
Yes, the new
All right.
mothers. You register your child.
Okay.
If you are coming out of South Africa, you came with a passport and you took your child to school, please make sure you update your passport so that it will help the child to have the documentation that are proper for them to attend school, so that when they have matric, they can be able to get their ID document.
Okay, so now we're talking to the parents. Parents, make sure take responsibility upon your shoulders and make sure that these kids have documents.
Yes. And another thing, if you have applied to Home Affairs, whether it's ID document or it's birth certificate or it's passport or refugee status, please make sure you make follow-ups so that you know the updates and everything. Then when you come to us giving feedback that I've made follow-up. This is the stage that I'm in, so that it's easy for us to help a lot of community members with statelessness.
Yeah, one thing that I always hear, people will say, I went to Home Affairs, but they said I must go back. Go back where?
You go back home, it varies with the case. There are those cases whereby the Home Affairs would say, go back home, we will call you for a panel interview. That's the process of Home Affairs. We can't override that. They have a long list of a waiting list of the interviews.
So it does take years or months or days?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Right.
The only thing you have to do, you have to make follow-ups.
Okay, so
Make
that means
follow-ups
people
with them.
need to be patient.
Need to be patient. They need to follow up and hear how far in the queue?
Yeah.
What number? So which month do you think I can be able to come and do those interviews?
Viewers
To
at home,
finalize
are you
the
listening?
documents.
You need to make the follow-ups. It's your responsibility to make the follow-up. Always follow up and ask, how far am I? How far is the process? And what is it that you need to do from your side? All right, mother. Continue it.
So after making the follow-ups, then you come to our office. You
Okay.
say, I'm having a problem, Home Affairs, this and this and that.
Okay.
With the last follow-up feedback, it's easy for us to make more follow-up or refer the case to the lawyers for human rights and say, our client is currently having the status from the Home Affairs, so it's easy for them to make further follow-up with a court order or anything that is it's needed.
So help is out there.
Yes, help is out there.
So what makes it so hard for us not to follow through so that we all have documents? What is it?
The challenge would be the mother would come having a complaint with the first child.
All right.
We open a file and we file it there, they don't come back. After 2-3 years down the line, they come back with the second child.
Oh.
That's when they need help.
Okay.
And say, please help me with the second one. And the first case.
Oh, I came here 7 years ago.
It's filed there, yes. So that is the challenge. With the first file, make a follow-up and get help.
Yes.
Second, same.
All right.
Don't leave the file, because we ended up having a pile of files in our offices. The mother came once or twice and they don't come back for the follow-up.
Others, they will never come back.
Others will never come back again. They only come back when they have a newborn baby again and say, I used to come to this office, then that's it.
So this is a continuous thing.
Yeah.
The mother has got challenges. You have a challenge as a child, and you grow up, you still don't have documents.
So let's stop and avoid statelessness. Let's register. Let's produce all the documentations as a right, and let's have that.
Community, we have heard from the office itself. Please make sure that you register with children. Please make sure that you do have a document. We all belong somewhere. And hashtag I too belong. This is Dr.